Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Let's be a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see there, Putin still leads. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Takes the lead on the final lap of the race.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 36, round number 3. And we're going to a circuit where we haven't been to PSGL at a very long time. It's, of course, Monte Carlo, the Circuit de Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix. And if you like Hungary, you're going to like Monaco as well, most likely. Or maybe not. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me once again in the commentary box, we've got James Head. James, how you doing?
I am doing very, very well, Jess. Yes, as you mentioned, first time since season 32, we are here tonight in Monaco. The Principality, of course, does throw up a little bit of rain sometimes. Could have a heavy rain shower coming through the marina. I'm really looking forward to this one.
I'm looking forward to it too. And yes, it does sometimes throw a bit of rain. Not as much as previous circuits. And what we've seen in F2 is it's going to be in the night time. I don't see some night weather at the moment, but you never know in F1. So it's going to look very spectacle here in the night time. We've got some stewards reports to go through as well. And we did see that Renz won last week as well, which is the man I predicted for the race win. He was the man who really shone through this, but he had to work for it.
He did have to work for it, and yeah, you got it spot on, I'm going to say, last week in terms of his prediction last week, in terms of your prediction. Ren's taking that race to win. There was a change in terms of the standings as a whole at the end of that race. Ian Van Unen lost his podium place. Remember, he finished third in the race. He got a 3-second penalty, however, added to his time for an incident with Yossi. So that put him 3 seconds, 4.8 seconds finished back to there. He finished in 4th in the end. Also 3-second penalty as well for the man who finished in 5th in Barak. He got a 3-second penalty for causing a collision with Flopban. I think we commentated it on stream, so you can go and watch that back a little bit later on. And then also Jeroen picking up a 10-second penalty, 3 license points to his license, and that was for causing a collision with Jeroen along with Nuth. That was when he was coming into the pit lane. That was caught off stream. I did see the POV of that after when Nuth sent it through. And also, Jess, GLGL getting a 5 license points and will be excluded from round 3 of the championship, 10 points on his license, and that is a result of crashing out on purpose in an extreme manner and potentially visually distracting other drivers. And what does that do to the championship standings?
Well, Matteo, by 2 points, is leading the way. And obviously with GLGL not here tonight, that is going to help him massively in the standings. Quite a few drivers are missing tonight, so that could be interesting in terms of the gaps as well. We got last week's race winner, Renz, in 3rd spot. Volakongan in 4th on 12 points, joint with Yossi and Cameron Dowles, who made his return last week as reserve. He's back racing tonight, though, which is a relief for Cameron's dad, who's in the chat. Hello. We got Keke in 7th position on 9 points, and we got Ian Van Uven in 8th. One of our predictions for a potential race win tonight. I'm not going to say who predicted that. Flopman in 9th on 8 points. And we got Ryan in 10th on 6. Then we got Erpet, Gustav. We got Zorzo, Noof, Barak, Stefano, Tim, Cadiddle, Marios, and Jeroen. And constructors, James, do you want to go through that?
Yeah, Constructors standings. I've just literally sent a message to Matteo. Constructors standings, Alfa Romeo, Sauber, of course. They're in the Constructors standings in Alfa Romeo. We're seeing Sauber on the stream. 28 points leading the way from McLaren in 2nd on 25. Williams in 3rd on 22. Thanks, of course, to Renz's win last week. Mercedes in 4th on 12. Alpine in 5th on 12, Haas in 6th on 9, along with Ferrari also on 9, AlphaTauri in 8th on 3, Red Bull in 9th on 2, and then Aston Martin nil. Boy, Jeroen and Justin definitely have got to get that act together. You didn't see me, by the way, on the cameras. It's currently raining out on track.
Yeah, it is currently raining out on track. Luckily, it's not raining too much. It's just intermediate conditions. And Monaco was first used in Formula 1 back in 1950, and it was a Sauber stroke Alfa Romeo car that won that day. Juan Manuel Fangio, who won multiple races around here. And like you were saying, season 32 were last year. Louis Valentine took the victory with Tom Roberts and Tiger Hardy on the podium. Then season 30, Matthew Older won. Season 27, Wilson Hughes. Season 24, Ickelblot. And season 22, Jarno Otmir as well. And I do remember Casper Jensen winning, I think, in one of the esports cups as well around here as well. And there was also a good race in the E-Series a while back. So great to see. So the track map, you can see here, 2.074 kilometres, 19 turns. I know it's 2.074 miles, sorry, and it only has one DRS zone in towards the start, finish straight. And it's either going to go well or it's going to go complete chaos. But we got quite a lot of drivers out there on track. I think the first driver that's going out on track is going to be one of the Ferraris, and that is Tim, who is back this week. Now, with the track so damp and heavy as well, it's going to be hard for their tyre to get up to temperature because the tyres will be cold anyway.
It definitely is. The swimming pool section is literally going to be like a swimming pool out on track here in Monaco. Flopman's actually the first man out on track right now. He's actually coming through Anthony Nolge on the run toward the line in towards turn number 1. I famously crashed around here in my league race that I did on this game. Definitely not one of my proudest moments. Flopman, though, lucky not to do that. Nearly hit the wall, coming through Sandoval at turn number 1. Getting out of the way there, Renz on the left-hand side, who now comes up the hill in towards my favourite section of the track, Massenet, where you can see a little bit of outside overtaking sometimes around here through there. Now through Casino Square at turn number 4, and on the run down in towards Mirabeau at turn number 5. And a 21-1 in the first second, you can see how really tricky these conditions are. The car just sliding the way away from him. Now trying to go drifting pretty much in the Grand Hotel hairpin. Now coming through turn 6, then through the right-hander now with Mirabeau Bass at the bottom end of the hill at turn number 7. And then in towards Portier now at turn number 8. Looking very nicely done indeed. Now coming through the tunnel section, the driest part on the track. He now comes through here on the run down in towards the Nivelle chicane. And the Nivelle chicane will definitely catch the driver right on the left-hand side. Definitely caught Flopman out. He's so slow coming through there. I think a snail could have went quicker as Flopman made that mistake. Just real locked basically coming into the corner. Now through to back at turn number 12. Then through the swimming pool section. A 1 minute put 8 in the middle sector. Definitely not on par with what he would have been expecting on this first run. Now coming through in towards Raskas at turn number 17, and then in towards Anthony Nolge at turn 18 and 19. Flopman looking to try and repeat a good form around here on this game as he now comes on the run to the line. And even with the mistake, just 21.4, not a bad lap at all, but it's still plenty of time to find on that lap. Because I think you're on mute.
Yes, I am on mute. Thank you very much. I was coughing a little bit earlier on whilst you were commenting on that lap, so that's why I had to mute a little bit there. But there are drivers that are going to be out for more than one lap, as Sibilla has invalidated in one of the corners where it's going to be easy to invalidate. Cameron Dowles set a stonker of a lap time with a 1:19.1. Now, Paul in F2 was a 1:08 point something. I had it written down. It's 1:08.253. We're not going to reach it here unless it gets dry relatively quickly. So it's going to be hard to predict what the pole time is going to be here because obviously conditions may get better. It may get worse and it may get heavy rain. You never know. But we have more people going up to the line. It's Keke. He's the next driver up to the line now. 1:21.004. Then we have one of the Alpines. That is Yossi as well. My pick for the race win tonight. Don't know why, I just went for somebody random, and he goes 4th fastest. Not too shabby at all. Zorzo as well. He is invalidated. Never mind. Last week's race winner is heading towards past the swimming pool chicane. Looked very committed through there. Didn't see what his middle sector was going to be, but through Raskas, just about avoids the wall. That is one of the challenges that we put in our notes tonight. Is going to be the barriers. One mistake will be enough to ruin a driver's race, and Renz goes up to the line with a 1:20.266, so not quite enough for pole position. It's going to be quite hard, James, to see who's on the lap and who's not, so we just got to keep our eyes crossed, and Cameron Dowles goes top again.
Cameron Dowles, I think, has just proven your point. It's going to be very difficult to try and see who's actually on a lap time because it's intermediate compounder tyres. because they need to get more running in. The tyres are more durable as they go through the session. Gustav, by the way, hit the wall. He's into the pit lane, so he's going to be backing off his lap. Cameron Daddo going quicker. You'll see drivers doing multiple runs on their laps. Ryan improving into second. Mateo there improving into third as well. So you've seen multiple drivers on multiple laps right now. Flopman is on a good run right now. He's 4/10 up through the first sector. Now coming in toward this corner of Tabac, the fearsome Tabac corner, and he's 1.1 seconds up in this middle sector. Flopman is absolutely cooking, being guided along by a Haas in front, who I think might be NLR Nuth as he comes in toward the final corner. Nuth there, rear-locking pretty much in towards Raskas, now toward Anthony Norris. This is a very good lap time from Flopman. On the run to the line, should be going quicker than Cameron Dowd. The Frenchman, ends up actually same lap time as Cameron Dowd. Brilliant lap.
Was awesome, and with Cameron Dowd setting the lap time first, then he is the one who gets the time on pole position. That is the rules on this game, but I've had some weird situations where it was the other way around, but sometimes it's just the game being the game. Gustav stayed in 13th, but Cameron Dowd goes even quicker again, and it's about 4/10 quicker. So as the drivers are getting less fuel in the cars, and the track evolves and gets quicker, so do the lap times. And that is what we're seeing for all of the drivers. Gustav comes out of the pits now. So does Keke. Any more drivers going up to the line? I think we've got one of the Alpines again. We've got Cipolla, who's looking even quicker on his lap time. It's going to be a 1:18.6, and he even beats Flopman's time. So it's proving my point perfectly. We got one of the Mercedes out on a lap time. He's about to start one. That is Volakongan, and his teammate is right behind him. Renz, I believe, is getting towards the middle sector. Yossi hanging across the line. This is looking pretty decent, but not quite decent enough to get pole position. It's a 1:19.5. Then we got the Haas of Noof. No, it's not Noof. It's Ian Van Oven heading to pass the Swinburne, and I think he's backed off his run. Yes, he's backed off his run. He's going to go again. What would you do in these conditions? What would you do to prepare for your lap? Because what I would do is I would get a banker lap in first. So I would do my out lap, do a lap with no ERS, and then start to push, because then your tyres will warm up better. Is that what you do, or would you do something different?
I'd do something different. I'd personally go for an out lap, then go for a full run, back up in terms of the battery again, and then go for another flying lap, just to try and utilise those tyres to good effect. Ian Van Unen is exactly doing this right now, coming down the hill in toward Mirabeau. And he's not looking too bad in the first sector. He's a 10.5 down. This rain, though, is beginning to ease out on track, which is going to be noticeable. Of course, the intermediate compounder tyres can dispose of 25 to 30 litres of water per second around this track. So you will see a dry line forming. I'm on board with Ian, and there's definitely a dry line coming now through in toward Portier, through in toward the tunnel section. Of course, one of the driest parts, if not the driest part on the track right now. He's there in 8th position because Volakongan's just improved into 7th, 19.6. Ever the consistent man in the intermediate conditions back in the past here in PSF1. Whether or not he can show the form here, though, in Monaco remains to be seen. It's Cameron Dowd down on top, M. Sapala second, Flopman there in third in the early stages still of this qualifying, halfway through qualifying, and Cameron Dowd down on top, Sapala second, Flopman there in third. My prediction, by the way, down in 9th. Your prediction, Jess, Yossi, in 7th right now. So you are definitely gloating over me right now here in the commentary box with these predictions. Again, second week in a row. Yossi there in 8th, Ian Van Unen in 10th. But there is only 200ths of a second actually separating them. Mateo's backed off a lap time. So was Flopman. He's back into the pit lane. Kazizel, I think, has backed off as well. And there's not many drivers actually out there on a lap. Looks like Volakongan's going again. Baki, however, is improving. The former F1 Esports Challengers man, who did get benched in F1 Esports Challengers. I don't want to make that point any further this season. Baki now coming through the final corner. The TF10 man on the run toward the line. Does he go quicker? Yes, he does. Goes 10th and ahead of Ian Van Unen and actually sets the same lap time as Volakongan.
Typical that there's quite a few people that set the same lap times tonight, and it's a circuit which is even more difficult. So it shows the high caliber of drivers. It shows that these drivers put in a lot of practice, and some drivers joined a bit late, which means they were still doing a bit of sweating before this race, which is respectable because you want to put a lot of practice in. If you don't put a lot of practice in, it's definitely going to show tonight throughout these laps because it requires a lot of precision. Cazzizzle, I think, is going to be starting a flying lap now, so I'll keep an eye on him very soon. Ryan is starting a run. Volakongan is 4 attempts down, so I wonder if he's backed up a little bit. Let's watch Ian Van Hooven again. Let's not watch Ian Van Hooven again because he's invalidated as he drifts into the pit lane. I'm just trying to see anyone else on the run. I don't think so. So let's keep on board with Cazzizzle as he heads towards the Mirabeau section, which I find quite difficult in this game. I don't know how these drivers tend to drift it, not gonna lie, but yes. There were a few drivers that were asked about the mentality and how they focus mentally before each race, like pre-race rituals. So also said he tries to remain the same mentally as in practice. Staying calm is important. Sort of though, if you can tell me how you stay calm during a race, I that'll be much appreciated. Oh, and someone's hit the wall, James.
Yeah, Cazzizzle, just on his lap time, he was improving by 1/10.5, but Nivelle chicane claims its first victim. It was not actually on the inside curb as you go into the corner. He got that perfectly right. He just went so far deep on the right-hand apex and then just pretty much oversteered over towards the wall. And because he was so far over, that barrier where John-Eric Verne, I think, in Formula E actually hit around here, he ended up in that wall where John-Eric Verne did. Luckily, they weren't involved in an incident. It was just only him. But Cazzizzle there, down in 6th position, not good, but he is going to go again.
Yep, he is going to go again, of course. I don't think he's got any damage. But as I was saying before, because it'll hit the wall, it's nice that some drivers can stay calm, but there's some people that just want to go for it as well. Noob is quite the opposite. He wants to have a clear mind, but he likes listening to music and will talk with the people in his party and not stressing out too much. And he knows he could do well when he just does his thing and gets into a good rhythm, so he tries to present himself and thinking and worrying about everything. I like to have music before the race, just to get in the mood, but I don't like it during the race, because it distracts me. I like people in the party, because no one in the party, it kind of like makes me a bit, feel a bit nervous and have a lot of anxiety, so I can see both sides to it, but if I was to pick like a mentality, I just want to try and stay calm, but a lot better than what I'm showing at the moment, and have music before the race. But during the race, I won't have music. But people would have different mentalities going into the race.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm honestly the opposite compared to Nuth. Nuth is a very chill guy, but I'm completely opposite. I want no distractions whatsoever, even if it's up from my parents coming up upstairs. Just have the noise-cancelling headphones in. It is just literally me and my thoughts when I'm out on track. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. However, while Jess was going on with those points, Cameron Dowds did improve. Rennes did improve as well. 1st and 2nd now for the Scotsman and the Dutchman there in 2nd. Sapala there in 3rd. The Flopman in 4th. Sapala is just on a lap time. Cameron Dowds is just going even quicker and quicker. With 18 flat, I may as well just stop commentating right now of who's going to go on pole, because it could literally be anyone right now. Sapala is improving through that 1st sector. The Alpine now coming through the middle sector, nearly getting off put by Williams, completely drifting the way through the Nivelle chicane in the background. That was quite hilarious. Sapala, though, is 7/10 down through the 1st sector, through the middle sector. He is not improving. It looks like Flopman is. Yossi goes 4th. Not a bad lap there at all from him. Currently my pick there down in 15th position. Not looking great for Ian Van Hooven right now. Flopman now on the run line. Should go 2nd with this lap. And he does. 18.3. Good lap time there from Flopman. And now back to where we were. Coming down on top. Flopman in 2nd. Rennes there in 3rd. My pick, Ian Van Hooven, really needs to get on with things. I did predict him more for the dries than I did for the wets. I do know he is quite good on the inters around here as well, but down in 15th, not good so far.
I think he will need to step up a little bit more, and let's just say these lap times are what I could do in the dry on race trim at the start of the race, which embarrasses me quite a lot. And as you were talking about Ian, he unfortunately has invalidated. So that is our first commentator's curse of the stream, courtesy of Mr. James Headers. Gustav finishes off his run and Ian validates anyway, but he's going to dive it into the pits. So we've got 3 minutes left to go of qualifying. It's time for you to get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think is going to get pole position? Is it going to be any of our top 3? Could it be people below that? Sipilar's been looking good. Noof's been looking good as well. Matteo, who's leading the championship, he will need to step up a little bit as well. So we'll see what he could do throughout the session as well. Tim is on the lap. He's on the fresher rubber, so he's going to have less pressure right now. But there's going to be other people that are seeing what he's capable of and will know when to push and when not to. So lots of unknowns, but it's time to get your predictions in. Mustache in the Twitch chat saying up NLR. So you're probably guessing which drivers he's rooting for tonight. But I would like you in the chat to let us know who you're rooting for tonight as well. It'll be good to have your interactivity, and we will read your chats later on, as Tim, unfortunately, has just invalidated. Every time we go on board with a driver, James, they seem to invalidate. So, as Flopman goes purple sector 2, please don't invalidate, otherwise that will prove my theory in a weird way.
Yeah, 10th up coming through the first sector, not looking too bad. Flopman around here in the other team event that I commentate on. He was on the podium around here, so Flopman has got good form. He's there behind Cameron Dowd, another man that's got good form. Ren's there in third. I'm not totally shocked at all by the top three right now. It's still raining out on track, so there's going to be no dry running actually out on track from any of the guys. Nobody has even selected a set of dry compounded tyres. Flopman coming through this middle sector. Should be a 57.8. 57.8 it is in the middle sector. Looking very good from Flopman. 4/10 up. He's on this fresh compounded rubber. Coming now through in towards Raskas. A bit squibbly there, halfway through the swimming pool section. Now in towards Raskas, and now in towards Anthony Nosh at the final corner. Very good, very tight to the wall there from Flopman. The Sauber now on the run to the line. Does he go quicker than Cameron Dowd? Of course he does. A 17.9, but he's only 800 clear of Cameron Dowd. And honestly, if Cameron Dowd has had his breakfast, lunch and dinner, I think that time is for the taking.
Well, I think anyone could beat that time as well. But again, it's unpredictable to know if a 1:17.9 is good enough. So Flopman is just going to hope and pray that it is enough as well. But the final few moments of qualifying is just ticking by, with Cipolla doing his final run at the moment with 40 seconds left on the clock. A few people bidding it right now, or moving out of the way, so they're probably not going to improve. I'm predicting an illegal blocking right now because there's a lot of cars getting towards Raskas. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it's going to happen, it's going to be here. But I think we are A-OK so far, so that's good. As they make their way towards the start-finish straight, Justin does more than a drift than I've seen all the other drivers do tonight, which is quite interesting as well. But let's see who's about to finish off their run, as Yossi in 5th spot is about to start his run. Cipolla heading towards Tabat now as well. Struggled to get his tyres up to temperature there as well. Quite a few people will be on newer tyres, but I believe it's one of the Williams that's going to finish his lap first. So let's go on board with the tier admin, of course. Ryan, he did a superb job. Past Anthony News, goes through the start-finish straight. Doesn't look fastest, but he does improve time to P7, which is not too shabby at all. Then it's Cipolla who goes up to the line. Need a few 100s quicker. What can it be? 4th place for him. We've got one of the Astons up next. That is NLR Justin. He goes into the pits because he's invalidated. We've got Volakongan who's invalidated. Kazizzle's on the lap right now. We got Cameron Dowles is on a run as well. He's looking very, very good. He could be the man who could beat Flopman. Start finish straight. Could this be the man to spoil the party for Flopman? No, it's not. Only a tenth slower than Flopman, so maybe a 1:17.9 could be enough. Except if last week's race winner has anything to respond to. Can he do anything? No. Stays in 3rd place. Yordi's still out on the run. We've got two. The Hattis is on a run. Van Uben's going up to the line as well. He goes 7th fastest. I'm trying to keep up with who's on the lap. Matteo goes in 3rd. That's a decent lap for Matteo. Yordi goes up to the line, only 7th fastest, and Gustav will be the last one to cross the line, and he's invalid. So it's Flopman, who is topped by just under 1/10 of a second.
And I was watching a ball with Cameron Dowd, and where he lost that was in that middle sector. He made 2 scrappy mistakes, one coming out of Portier, and then one coming out through the Novelle chicane, and that put him completely on the back foot. He was a 10.5 up through the first sector, ended up 4 thousandths down in the middle sector. So you can just assume how much time he lost in that middle sector. About 0.2 of a second he lost. Gained that time back, wasn't close enough though, and in the end, Flopman takes about 0.08 of a second. The top 3 are separated by a 10th, dead on. Very good qualifying from him. Flopman, the Frenchman, not the Jamaican as he was last week. Flopman out on top from Cameron Dowd in 2nd, Matteo there in 3rd. Then a big chasm of a gap for Monaco in the wet. Big chasm of a gap to Ren's there in 4th. Kazizel there in 5th, Sapala there in 6th, Yossi there in 7th, Ian Van In the 8th. Jess has got another prediction right so far. Keki there in 9th, with Baki there in 10th, second covering the top 10, including Ryan and Nuthe, who are 11th and 12th. Then Volokong in 13th, Zozo 14th, Justin 15th, Tim in 16th, Gustav there in 17th. We'll be back, of course, after this intermission break from our sponsors, GTA.
Welcome back to PSGL season 36 in the night time around Monaco, and it was Flopman that took pole position. We thought that Cameron Dowles was going to do it, but no, he didn't do it. So that was what we're going to see in qualifying, what we're going to see in the race. No illegal blocking, James, which means less blabbling on from us, hopefully, and we can get straight to the action quicker. What more can we ask for?
What more can we ask for, indeed? Matteo being told, by the way, we're going at 26, 26, by the way, in terms of the time. If we were getting a 15-minute break, I don't know what we were finding in terms of something to speak about, but we're going in 26, so about 2 minutes' time. It is going to be a dry race by the looks, judging by what everyone's saying. But yeah, fantastic qualifying from Flopman. Where Cameron Dowds lost that, as I said just before the break there, was he lost that in the middle sector. And it was a shame because he was a 10th and a half up in the first sector, 4,000s down in the middle sector. Monaco does punish the unpunishable sometimes. Cameron Dowds found that out, unfortunately. Matteo there in 3rd, only a 10th off as well. Very tight between the top 3. Now everyone's on an even playing field with it being dry and a dry start to this race at least. Everyone now on an even playing field. We're going to really see who is good and who is going to be falling by the wayside around here in Monaco, which is a very difficult track.
We did see it in the F2 race. We saw multiple people starting on the mediums, multiple people starting on the hards, kind of like a split strategy. No one went for the soft compounded tyres, but the fact that we had a wet qualifying, it gives softs a bit more of an option now if they wanted to. Some people may go for the softer hard strategy. So that opens the doors a little bit. I always like open doors at PSGL with strategy, but knowing us, there's going to be memes or hards again, but it is going to be exciting. Make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be in for a very great race, or we're going to be utter chaos. Hopefully, it's going to be a great race. Hopefully, hardly any safety cars, touch wood. And hopefully, we get to enjoy the race in our lovely GT and Mega chairs that we're sitting in right now. Make sure you check out the code PSGL at checkout, 5% off all GT and Mega products by using the link in the description. And you can also check out our partner Sim Racing Centre, where you can get setups, coaching sessions from two-time esports champion Brendan Lee, and some strategies as well. It is 8:26, so we should be getting underway shortly.
We should be probably in around 30 seconds time from about this countdown that we're going to be looking for. Avatar going in the chat, maybe Yossi or Flopman. So Avatar actually going with you, Jess, for the race win. I'm going to still stick by my man. I'm still sticking by Ian Van Noonen for the race win.
So you're not going to go for Cameron Dowles?
No.
So you made that. So you did that last week and that didn't work out. Now you're going for Ian. I bet you're going to go.
I'm confident.
You're confident. Wow. We should start our own predictions championship, and whoever gets the closer gets a point. We should joking. That me and James, we are too competitive in our own right. But anyway, we are about to get underway for the 5 red lights here at Monaco in the night time at PSGL. We are go. Flopman gets a good start from Cameron Dowles. So does Matteo in towards turn number 1. Flopman is already pulling away. And Matteo had a bit of a scram through Sandebot. No heroics to Sandebot, I would say. But everyone's made it cleanly through there as Cipolla and Yoli's 2 Alpines going side by side. Alpines have had trouble in real life. Let's hope they don't have trouble in a PSGL. They're now heading towards Mirabeau as well, where we saw a pile up in F2. Looks like the top 10 are A-OK. A bit of a tyre smoke through there. The hairpin is going to be quite tricky as well. But looks like that they're absolutely fine at the moment. So good job on all the drivers.
Yossi's right on the back of Kazizel. Kazizel's on the set of hards. Yossi's on the set of mediums. Yossi needs to get this job done. Now in towards the Nivelle chicane. He's going to be outside of DRS range compared to Renz in behind. They were all going, by the way, Kazizel and Yossi, side by side, throughout pretty much the entirety of the first sector, up through Mirabeau, and then through the entirety of the middle sector, and now they're right on the back of the coattails of each other once again. Brilliant battle through the first lap of the race. I don't think anybody has got damage either, so everyone has behaved themselves so far. Flopman leads the way by 5/10. Cameron Dowd in second, Mateo there in third, Renz there in fourth. But because Kazizel and Yossi had that aggressive fight in the mid-pack in fifth and sixth, Kazizel now is 1.6 seconds out of range to Renz. Renz on a set of mediums ahead of him. Definitely going to be putting him, Yossi, Ian Van Noonen all under pressure. Ian Van Noonen as well on the back of Yossi as well. But Yossi wants to try and get this job done. Up the hill through Mirabeau. Looks toward the inside line. Might look for the switchback coming out of Mirabeau and Casino Square. On the run down towards Mirabeau once again. But Yossi there on the back of sixth position. On the back of Kazizel. But Kazizel has lost that DRS to the back of Ian.
That was quite tight for the likes of Yossi and Kazizel there. It could have ended up much worse, but we are starting to see separate DRS trains from Kazizel has fallen off from Renz, which shows the pace at the side-by-side into the tunnel. That's very risky, but Yossi gets the job done, and he's back up into fifth place. He's got to get a good exit in towards Tabat, which he does, which is a great job from him, and that train is starting to close in just a tiny bit as well. So impulse section can be tight for Yossi, but he does that good as well. There's a lot of bumps, and if you're using simulation damage around here, you're almost certain going to get floor damage and underbody damage if you do that. But luckily, it's standard damage, so they would have got away with that as well. Flopman setting the fastest lap of the race so far. Mateo has ran out of, hasn't got any DRS to Cameron Dow, so the top two are just going to be running away with it right now as well. Not much overtakes currently, and you can tell I think everyone has put in the practice, because there's hardly any mistakes at the moment. Saying that, there'll probably be a mistake on the next couple of corners, so I won't say anything more. Ian Van Hooven is looking quite good as he makes his way through Mirabeau, and he's trying to get past Kazizel actually. So Kazizel is struggling a little bit with his hard compounded tyres. Ian Van Hooven is on the medium, so he's got the better grip, but watch out for Kazizel later on in this run. His tyres will warm up a bit quicker, but Ian is not that far behind because he's on much better rubber and on the medium tyres, but he's not going to go for the move yet. He's just going to be patient. He's got plenty of battery. He doesn't want to use too much in the space of a couple of laps.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think drivers will use a lot of battery in a couple of laps, certainly, because it's probably wasteful for their chances. Mateo just dropping outside of DRS range to Mateo there as well. Could be outside of DRS range. Coming through Anthony Noah, she is indeed outside of DRS range to Cameron Dowd. Cameron will begin to pull away then from Mateo running down the straight. Taxi fastest lap of the race does the Scotsman. Ian Van Noonen on the back of Gazizel in towards turn one, but not quite close enough. Looking at Tim maybe on the back of Zolza potentially for a battle up the hill in towards Mirabeau there, 14th and 15th early on. Position changes, by the way. Zolza went very deep then towards turn number one. Ian Van Noonen still on the back of Gazizel. Position changes so far. Yossi's gained 2, Ian Van Noonen's gained 1, Backy's gained 1, Justin's gained 2, Tim has gained 1. Not much movement throughout the field, to be honest. Losing the most positions, Volokogin, he had a bit of a shoddy start coming to the opening corners, down 3 positions further down the field. Keki has lost 1, M. Sapala's lost 2, and then Kazizel's lost 1 as a result as well. The front 4, as it stands, remain as they are. Ian Van Noonen, though, desperate to try and get past on Kazizel coming through the tunnel. Is he going to look for the move into the Nivelle chicane? No, I think Ian Van Noonen, like he did in WR around here. Yes, I have just dropped the name. I apologise. Ian Van Noonen on the back of Kazizel around here in the other league, I should say. He was very quick, and Ian Van Noonen is definitely going to try and get Kazizel either forcing the pace here, or Ian Van Noonen needs to get this job done and needs to get it done immediately.
Yes, in towards Anthony Knows Now, which is a very technical corner if you get it wrong. And Ian Van Hooven is closing up just a little bit as well. And this is a track where high downforce is very, very key. There'll be, or every single driver, I'm almost certain, is going to be running 50-50 wings. If you don't want 50-50 wings, you're going to struggle. But there might be some people running 50-49, like me, or 49-50. But as long as you're running high wings, you're going to be all right. If you're not, you're going to struggle with the car. So if people are running defoul setups, you can definitely tell. But it looks like people have got the setups that they need today. So that is always great to see on that front. But you can see Ian Van Hooven closing up in the tunnel. I don't think he's going to get past just yet. Not much overtakes being made at this moment in time. They're just being a little bit patient, which, to be honest, I don't blame the drivers. You don't want to burn your battery up too quickly, and there could be a chance for a safety car, so you want to be saving it. You want to be pushing your tyres pretty much towards the end of the stint, not now. As we're seeing more penalties, one from Gustav, actually. What happened there?
3-second penalty. I think he corner cut coming through the Nivelle chicane, if I'm not mistaken, judging by his penalty pickup, judging by where he is out on track. He is at the back of the field compared to Volokongen as well. Tim there in 15th as well. Ian Van Unen looking desperately on the back of Kazizel. He uses up the CRS up the straight, and again, he's not going to utilise this up. He wants to keep his battery to good effect. To be honest, though, Yossi is in a bit of no man's land. Ever since he got that move done on Kazizel, the gap has pretty much stayed stagnant at around about 2 seconds. It's now 1.8, so it is whittling its way down slightly. But the mediums aren't as good around here as what the hards are. They're pretty much even pace, and they're pretty much even wear as well around here as well. So the mediums definitely not acting as good. Ren's just staying on the back of Matteo right now ahead. Yossi is getting closer, visibly out on track, as Ian Van Unen on the back of Kazizel once again. The Nivelle chicane is still on the back of him. And again, I apologise if there's nothing really we can ride on ball with, because anything is just happening in the midfield right now. Kazizel and Ian Van Unen 6th and 7th position, but Ian still. If I was him, I think there's just a matter of time where impatience will just take over, and Ian Van Unen will just absolutely send it somewhere on the back of Kazizel. I'm thinking if I was in his shoes right now, I would have tried to maybe force a move into turn 1, maybe up the hill and towards Massenet at turn number 3. And now, speaking of which, is he going to do this? No, because it'll cut the inside line. Ian Van Unen gets a good switch back, and maybe up the hill and towards Massenet. Is the move going to happen for Ian Van Unen? Because it will give him room. But that Mercedes is like a Minister of Defence of Monaco right now. Cuts him up towards the wall, and Kazizel, good defensive driving there. Ian Van Unen cannot find a way through. Kazizel making that look like the widest Mercedes out there. Honestly, it looks like one of the boats in the marina right now.
That is a very fast left-hander, and if you get that move done there, then you'll feel very, very good. Beautiful move through Massenet in towards Casino Square there. Nice control from Kazizel. This battle's going to go on for a very long time. This won't be the last move we see into Massenet, not going to lie, and into Casino Square, so watch out for them for the rest of this race as well. And look at this, Ian is still around the back, heading towards the back, as that was a move done by him, and he's hit the wall. Ooh. He's hit the wall, so he might have got some minor damage there, and that's going to allow Kazizel to close up a little bit. And you can't see the cameras on screen at the moment, but I quickly glanced on James pointing at his screen as if I could see it. It's like, don't point at anything because I'm not going to see it. But anyway, I just found that quite funny, to be honest, but I think Ian's got away with that damage.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah, he has. I think it's just a glancing blow on that right side end plate, but now he's free. He's now beginning to pull away from Kazizel. You can see that very visibly. 6.5 tenths of a second coming through Massenet and Casino Square once again. Beautiful part of Monaco, by the way. If you've ever watched a YouTube video of walkthroughs and everything around the marina or anything, or just a general walkthrough, Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hammond and those going in the Renaults around here in Top Gear. This track, honestly, this is a beautiful part of the world. Ian Van Unen there in 6th, Kazizel there in 7th. I'm not saying that I do want to visit Monaco. I would definitely love to. I don't have the money, and I don't think any of us would have the money to visit Monaco. Let's be honest. Ian Van Unen, though, in 6th, just getting a bit of a corner cut going on there through the Nivelle chicane. Kazizel there on the back of him. But again, visibly, the mediums aren't as good compared to the hards. The hards just beginning to stay within range of the mediums. I would have predicted the mediums to fall about 12, 13 laps into the race, and then you're just struggling throughout. But Ian Van Unen now, because he's got Kazizel on the back of him, it was tactical as well from Kazizel to just stay within DRS range. But you know Kazizel, he likes to try and eye up the inside line of turn number 1. Volokongen in, Zolzo in, and Tim, sorry, you're into the pit lane. Volokongen and Gustav go through. But Tim and Zolzo into the pit lane. Tim is onto a set of hard compound tyres, Zolzo's onto a set of medium. So I can only think Tim has picked up damage, which he gets a front wing change for. Zolzo didn't, and I think that's a tactical decision for him to the end of the race. 30 laps in a set of mediums.
Yeah, which I think's going to be quite tight as well. So there could be people that are doing a 2-stop. It has been done in other leagues, and they could get some punch territory. If I last these amount of laps on the mediums, I would die. So fair play if you could do that as well. Maybe he's also hoping for a safety car, but Tim, his hearts can, I think, get to the end quite comfortably as well. So he's going to brave it. We have seen it done in the past, haven't we, in PSGL, where we see people go onto the hards for about 30 laps to the end and they make it stick. But to be fair, there was 1 or 2 safety cars, so that helped them a little bit there as well at the start. But they're not going to get that at the moment, as the night sky around Monaco looks absolutely magnificent, by the way. Cameron Dell's still not able to get past Flopman, even though he's right on the back of him. Free Massenet now heading towards his left-hander, heading towards Casino Square, where we could see the move being done now. Cameron Dowles, he's just been burning his battery too much as well, trying to get past, but he just couldn't do it. Flopman, on the other hand, is roughly on the same battery too, so it's an even kettling for them as well. Renz, on the other hand, is fighting with Matteo. This could be an interesting fight. The battles are starting to get closer and closer, I think, as the hards or the mediums start to wear out for some people.
Yeah, very similar to other commentaries that I've done as Tim's picked up a 3-second penalty. Very similar that around about lap 10, lap 11, the action begins to get going. Cameron Daz, as you mentioned there, Jess, has burned up a lot of his battery. 32% he has got coming through the swimming pool section. Flopman's just sitting pretty, 73%. So whatever Cameron Dowd throws at him, Flopman will have an answer, and he'll have an answer in bucket loads. And honestly, the way this race is progressing, I think Cameron Dowd has been too aggressive in terms of his ERS usage. And he do not want to be aggressive around this track in terms of ERS usage. And Cameron Dowd's finding that out, 35%. But what I can say about Cameron, and I think I've said this in other commentaries as well, Cameron is probably one of the best ERS savers of the entire field. So that battery, you can already see, 37%, it's just ticking up, ticking up. He's got this real lift and coast measure that he has going into the corners and just picks up extra percentage of ERS where other drivers, 99% of the field, probably won't. And Cameron Dowd is so good with his ERS management, he's beginning to now tick that battery back up. 84% for Flopman, 43% for Cameron Dowd. And Cameron Dowd, I think that as the laps tick by, you'll begin to see that change. You'll begin to see Cameron Dowd have much better battery compared to Flopman, and that's just because of the nature and the style of driving that he has.
Yes, and you can recharge quite a bit around here compared to previous track, but if you lift and coast more, that is where you gain the most in recharge, and that is what Cameron Dowles is doing. Other people could maybe potentially learn from him as well, but that's going to help him big time coming towards the end of the race, where everyone's potentially going to be starting to push potentially on a set of the medium tyres. I assume he's going to go onto the medium tyres towards the end of the race, potentially halfway into this stint as well. And we got a pit stop already for me, Ian Van Uven, who's going to go on to a set of hards, I think, because I don't think any other tyre will get to the end, and he can't go on to another set of mediums anyway. Hard compounded tyres. So he's going to try and get to the end as well. So is Noof, by the way. So both Hasses have came into the pits. Noof a lap ago. So where is Ian going to go in relation to his teammate? He's just going to come out ahead of him.
Yeah, easily ahead, and Nooth actually will get within DRS range on the back of Ian Van Unen. But Nooth has got a target to aim at. That's his teammate, and they should work together. Both of them are in the Hasses. Obviously, there's no collusion going on within teams. That's, of course, Cookle's disqualifications and whatever from the stewards. But Ian Van Unen and Nooth, because they're in within a second of each other, Nooth is on it in terms of the tyres right now. Ian Van Unen's tyres will not get up to speed until the next lap. So this is now Nooth. What does he decide to do? Does he decide to force the pace? He's got the fresher rubber and then brings Ian Van Unen with him? Or does he let just Ian Van Unen go ahead and think that the quicker driver is ahead of him? If I was in his shoes, I'd be getting Ian Van Unen on the blower and saying, right, you've got to get on with things. I'm just going to follow you within a second. But what Ian Van Unen and Nooth have done there, undercut strategy. Undercut is so powerful around this track, probably the most powerful. Around about 5 or 6 seconds you can gain on an undercut if drivers off the pit in. Backy has decided to come in along with Justin, so the undercut is not going to be as powerful as what it might be. But look at where the Hasses are, and look at where these guys are. They're miles behind. Backy coming out of the pit lane. There's a yellow flag coming through the final corner. That's Tim, who has crashed actually coming into the pit lane. Never really seen that before around here. Tim has crashed into the pit lane. That is him done. He had a front wing change pending as well. So Tim done out of the race. Lots of first retirement here in Monaco. But lap 13 out of 39, and Monaco was claimed its first victim. I thought, honestly, it would have been a lot sooner than that.
I thought it would have been a lot earlier as well. I think it potentially would have been the first 4 laps of the race, but it just is a testament to how clean they're keeping those guys as well. If I had a teammate that was similar pace around, I would definitely be doing the same, just DRSing each other into turn number 1, because you gain a lot by doing that. and you gain a lot by being in a turn as well, and everyone else behind you is going to lose time, and that will help you close up to the guys ahead who have not pitted as well. So also, you can see how the undercut was powerful there, because he's about, 3.2 seconds, clear of Ian Van Uven, but he is catching, not going to lie. Gustav goes into the pits as well, and he retires, so Monaco claims another victim. He is given up, unfortunately, as well. So we're down to 15 drivers in this race so far. Ignore the yellow flags, that's just Gustav AI getting out the way. So your order so far, as we hit to lap 14 of 39, Plotman still out on top, Cameron Dowd in second, Matteo in third. Closest battle is Kazidal, Cipolla, Keke, and Ryan's catching up as well, so we could have a four-way fight for P6 right now.
Yeah, we could. I think drivers, though, if I was in this train, if I was Keke or Ryan, certainly, I'd be looking to come in the pit lane, maybe put on a set of medium compounder tyres. I've got in my notes they can go from around about 22 laps, roughly. Well, 20 laps on the mediums. They can go a lot longer compared to when they can as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if anybody in the scrap, if Cipolla picks up a 3-second penalty, he might be the one that decides to come in now as a result, because this will staying out, as does Keke, as does Ryan, as does Cipolla. So they definitely haven't got the memo. They definitely haven't listened to me in terms of my strategy. And they probably don't want to either, because honestly, I'm the worst in terms of strategy around this track, that's for sure. At least they've got longer than me in my league race around here. Flopman leading the way from Cameron Dowd in second, Matteo there in third. But I just want to draw my attention back to this battle for the lead, because Cameron Dowd, his battery usage, now 16%. He's been trying to desperately get to Flopman. I think Flopman is just absolutely controlling this race throughout. Matteo there in third, Ren's there in fourth, they're dropping back. It's between Flopman and Cameron Dowd. Unless there's a safety car that comes in this race, this will be the front two. This will be one of them winning the race by the end of it. Flopman leading, Cameron Dowd in second. Flopman seems to have every answer right now compared to Cameron Dowd, and it's not often we see, Jess, Cameron Dowd having to work for something as hard as a PSF1 victory of Monaco. Cameron Dowd's normally controlling things by now. Flopman, though, deciding, you know what, I'm going to one-up you tonight, and I'm going to be the one controlling things.
And I believe it's that going to be Flopman's first win, because he technically had a win in Australia, but he had a penalty.
It'll be his first official win.
Yeah, it'll be his first official win. And to be honest, usually the man who starts on pole in Monaco tends to win the race. We saw that with Louis Valentin, who dominated that race, to be fair. But that race here in season 36 is just getting so much closer. Who remembers where, I think it's Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton were fighting? Daniel Ricciardo had hardly less power, and he still went on to win the race, I believe, as well. So it just shows that track position is key around this track. Even if you're the fastest driver in the world, even if Cameron Dowd is faster on race pace, there's one thing catching a driver, it's a different thing passing it.
Yeah, look at his ERS again, 6%. I don't know why he's doing this, to be honest. I just want to literally take control of that car myself and work up the battery again, because Cameron Dowd, it's peculiar to what he's doing. He's not coming in the pit lane. Matteo is still staying out there and behind as well. He's losing time, but it's not going to gain him that much coming down the straight. It's only going to gain him, what, maybe 5 miles an hour here and there? Is 5 miles an hour really going to make a difference here in Monaco? No, Flopman leading the way has got a real element of control over this race right now. And do you know what? It's really refreshing to see, because Flopman is normally this driver where he is very aggressive in terms of a battle. We saw in Australia, he picked up a penalty as a result of it. But now, in Monaco, he just seems to be controlling things. Again, in the other league, he was very, very aggressive in terms of his defence. I think I called him the Minister of Defence for Monaco in that commentary. But Flopman there leading the way, Cameron Dowd in second. Flopman has this element of control. People that won't believe in me when I said Flopman is a very good driver and he needs to show it. This is him showing it right now. Believe in Flopman. We've had believe in Black Box. We've had believe in Bas Bramer, I think, in the comment section before. But believe in Flopman, because I tell you what, he is doing this really, really easily right now. And look, gap now, pretty much a second. Cameron Dowd's 3-second penalty. There's the nail in the coffin already.
That is a shame for Cameron Dowd, and he's already falling out of DRS as we just talked about him, which is a shame. So the The pressure got to him. Mateo's in, Ren's is in, Yossi is in. Well, I can see why Ren's and Yossi went in because they're on the mediums, but for the likes of Mateo, he started on hards. Do you think the mediums are going to last about 20 or so laps to the end of this Grand Prix? Well, it can, because we've seen people who started on the mediums and just pitted onto the hards now do it. So it's going to be tight, but you've got to manage your tyres very well and just be smooth on your driving. If you're not as smooth on the wheel, that is where you're going to gain the most tyre wear. That's what I've learned with a bit of coaching I had. The smoother you are with the wheel, the less you're going to burn out your tyres.
Yeah, definitely so. I'll tell you what, whoever's taught you has taught you completely right, I've got to say as well. Flopman leading the way from Cameron Dowd at second. 1.1 seconds. Flopman now responding. One of these guys, if not both of them, have got to come in the pit lane and cover off Mateo. Mateo, luckily, though, is going to be quicker than Cazzizzle and Sapala, but he's going to get to them very quickly indeed. Flopman is coming into the pit lane. Cameron Dowd is coming into the pit lane as well. I'm not sure if pit entries are getting monitored here. But put it this way, Cameron Dowd was a lot wider compared to Flopman coming into the pit lane. That might be a 5-second penalty.
I'll check.
If it is getting monitored coming his way, we'll definitely have a check. I don't think anything was mentioned in the stewards' briefings. But now because Cazzizzle and Sapala are going to... Oh, they're into the pit lane, so they're going to free up Mateo. Mateo now coming through the final corner. He has gained time, but not by much. Flopman leading Cameron Dowd in second, and Mateo, once he gets going, he is going to be maybe within a second of Cameron Dowd by the end of this lap. It's going to bring him into it, but Flopman still has that element control in terms of that battery. Look at the battery, 62% Flopman has got. Cameron Dowd on 19, Mateo on 16. And in fact, that is going down because he's trying to catch and has set the fastest first sector out of everyone. And in behind Jess, Renz, who came, Zolzo came in the pit lane very early, is now holding up Renz an absolute treat. And he's also holding up our 2 picks for the race win as well.
Track position is key. That is what I like to see. The reason why I was on mute again was I was just checking the steward's briefing, and there's no specific pit rule, entry rule for this event, but they should only enter the pit if it's safe to do so, as Yossi trying to, well, a defender from his life from the likes of the two-hatted, but exiting the pits, there's a rule there. Drivers must keep to the right of the yellow line, solid yellow line, separating the track and the pit exit. Going over that line with the 4-wheel or more is prohibited. So if they cross the pit lane exit line, then they get a 5-second penalty. We've seen many people get penalised that before. Remember, Luke Smith got robbed of his first F1 race win in PTF1. And then he crossed the pit lane exit line. And look at Renz. Renz on the back of Zorzo. He's got to get past ASAP. He's going to lose a lot of time otherwise. Pass in towards Casino Square now. He's going to try and go for a hit. He's got to. Maybe just not. Yordi's caught up to the back of him as well, which could give him advantage as well. He was going to almost do a drift in net. Those 3 cars are just so exciting. It's great to see.
Yossi, Renz needs to save up his battery first and foremost, but he is going to try and get the move done there down through the tunnel. We saw with Ian Van Oon a little bit earlier on in this battle. Renz now on the back of Zolzo, but he's using up that battery. Zolzo, again, like Flopman ahead, has got so much more battery in hand, he can just try and fight off Renz and fight off Yossi until it's hard to contend. And what this is going to do now, because Zolzo is on that set of mediums, he deserves to be there, by the way. He does not want to give up this position, and he does not have to give up this position either. Renz and Yossi are going to have to do it the hard way. They're going to have to find the weakness out of Zolzo right now, and that weakness could be the cornering. Coming out of the corner, Zolzo now under pressure from Renz Thomason. Renz on the back, the winner of last week in Belgium, as Mateo picks a penalty as well. Tries to go around the outside center. What a... Even with touching the barriers, and now Yossi's going to get them both up the hill. Yossi now gets Renz up through Mirabeau, in towards Massenet and Casino Square. Brilliant stuff through Sandoval, up the hill. Brilliant stuff by Yossi. That is full credit to that battery usage. Yossi there in 4th, Renz there in 5th, Zozo there in 6th. Renz pulled off a brilliant move, albeit on Zozo. Yes, there was a bit of contact. It takes balls to go around the outside there. Fantastic stuff from there. Zozo, though, 4th, Renz in 5th. Zozo has just been done like an absolute kipper.
Yes, that was very brave from Yossi, not going to lie, trying to go for the move as well. And he's up to 4th already, and he's on hard to go to the end of the race. It's like the writing's on the wall for him. But don't forget, we saw with Zorza, he was able to hold on for so long because trap position. So it's not going to be easy for him as well. So bearing in mind, there's one thing catching, like I said, there's another thing in trying to pass around here because it's just so difficult right now. Cameron Dowles has pretty much definitely fallen now of ERS now. He's definitely struggling. So it's Matteo on Cameron Dowles. So we'll see what the other drivers can do elsewhere as well. And Avatar called Yossi to the pits at the right time now. So good to see you all in the chat. Some people were saying that it was too early for the hards on lap 12, but we'll see with the likes of Ian and Noof if they're able to make it. But the ones who pitted like they did is when I was expecting them to do so. It's just about managing it now, and hopefully they haven't got too much tyre pressure, because otherwise their tyres are going to overheat like crazy around here, especially in the night time as well, in midnight. If you are liking the action, by the way, make sure you leave us a like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell if you are new. And if you are watching us on Twitch, which I know quite a few of you are, thank you to those of you who are watching on Twitch, twitch.tv/PremierSimGL if you're not following us already. And hit the subscribe button, not hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. And oh, this is very tight in the back as well. There's action going on everywhere. We got Renz on Yossi, which he's gonna do.
Yossi's got damage.
Yossi's got damage, so he's gone in. So is that what the ooh was for then?
Yeah, it was. There was a ball with him, and I didn't want to cut you off, but he hit the wall. He hit the inside wall coming through the back, and when you hit the inside wall at the back, you're gonna damage the right side end plate, and that's what Yossi did. Unfortunately, now down in 13th position. Unfortunately, it seems for Jess as well, because this will ties into the pit lane as well. Definitely seems like Yossi is not going to be winning this race. I'm now looking rather smug in the commentary box because Ian Van Unen's now in 6th position and is attacking Yossi potentially for this 5th position as well. Might not be the race win, but at least I'm kind of getting one over on you from last week with Renz's prediction.
Yes, I mean, I'm kind of glad I wasn't on board then, because you probably should have seen the look on my face going from smiley to not good. But I'm not competitive, I promise. But there are some yellow flags. That is what. Oh, that is Kadidal. That is Kadidal's retiring in the pits as well. That is going to allow the houses to climb their way up there, which will be great to see. So hopefully no one will get caught up by the AI. Oh, Kadidal, which has been done before when ghosting is off, but luckily ghosting is on, I believe. It's hard to tell at the end of the day. Flopman, yeah. Flopman, I think, struggling with his means a bit more than Cameron Dowles. So I wonder if Cameron Dowles has been saving a bit, is going to use to his advantage. But if Cameron Dowles gets past Flopman, he's got to make up 3 seconds, because otherwise his race is over.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh, follow Congan looking to the inside and Justin further down the field. I thought he was going to look for the move up the hill and towards Massanane Casino Square there. The Norwegian looking to try and fight this move. These are for final point scoring positions as well. But yeah, coming back to your point about Cameron Dowles, he's definitely saved a bit on his tyres. I think Flopman's gone aggressively. Keki's in the wall, and that's a safety car. He's gone straight on, I think, at Sander Bot at turn number 1. So that is Keki out of the race. Unfortunately, safety car has been deployed. The pack now will begin, of course, to get up. Flopman is into the pit lane. He's staying within that yellow line. Cameron Dowdes is into the pit lane as well. In fact, Cameron Dowdes stays out. Flopman is into the pit lane. If Matteo comes in, which he does. Oh, he had a half-hearted look there coming in the pit lane. Matteo is into the pit lane as well. Cameron Dowdes now is the one that is going to be absolutely done for out on track. He has got a hope. Unfortunately for him, the safety car has already come out, so he will be getting onto the back of the safety car this lap around. If the safety car come out about 30 seconds later, he'd be fine. But now, Flopman on a much fresher compound tyre, on a fresher set of mediums, he's there in second. From Matteo there, Jess, I think that's cooking on softs. Yeah, he's there in third on softs, come out ahead of Ian Van Unen, who's there in fourth. Matteo is now going to be the one to watch in this race because he's on the fresher tyre.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on Matteo, to be honest, because he has the best opportunity to try and get past cars ASAP. But it's all well and good being on the softs, but if you can't get past, the softs are going to feel absolutely horrible. Optimally, it lasts 11 or 12 laps. How long have we got until the safety car comes in? I think around about lap 26, 27. We will then have
They'll be fine.
12 laps to go until the Grand Prix. Yes, you're right, James. It will be enough. So I can see why people have gone for it. Renz, was in for soft, so Zorzo, Ryan, Sibylla, and Yozzy. Yozzy's like the cat with 9 lives, I'm going to say, not going to lie. He's literally just come out of the pits and he's going to try and catch up, hopefully. But again, it's going to be hard to overtake. I don't know why Ian, Noof, and Backy have stayed out, to be honest. They're going to be on the hardest rubber. They're going to be on the oldest tyres. They could get absolutely swamped. But if they pull off the defensive dreams, they could still be on for a good result. Don't forget top 10 score points. And we got Backy that's into the pit lane.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of them has actually listened to you coming in the pit lane. Backy is into the pit lane, and Sapala has crashed coming through the Novell chicane under the safety car. I do not believe what I have just witnessed.
God, yeah.
I think, there he is on the right-hand side. Yossi just coming through there. I think he's hit the wall pretty much where, as I said, John Eric Verne did and Kazizel did in qualifying. I think he's hit that wall. He's gone pretty much bottomed out on the curb, the right-hand side curb, then falls all the way left-hand side. Then he's crashed on the left-hand side of the wall, and then the car has just speared right into the other wall, and that is him out of the race. We're now down to 12 in this race as a result. Luckily, the safety car is out. That car is now gone, so Zapala is down in P13. I think the only thing hurt maybe is Pride, because he was doing very well. He would have hoped that the safety car would have brought him back into play, but Monaco, it is very difficult, this track. Even under the safety car, you can crash, and that's what we've just found out there with Sapala. Cameron Dowd's leading though, Flopman second, Matteo there in third, Ian Van Unen in fourth, Nuke there in fifth, Vola Congan in sixth, Ren 7, Zozo in 8, Justin 9th, Backy 10th, and then Ryan and Yossi the top 12, myself and Jess Ball taking you to the action here in PSF1. If you are liking the stream, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell if you're brand new on YouTube and indeed on Twitch. You can follow and subscribe us on YouTube as well, and check out our sponsors GT Omega and Sun Racing Centre in the description of this very video as well. But I'm now going to come at you, Jess, with a point here about Ian Van Den and Noof. 4th and 5th position, Volokong and Ren's in behind. I think staying out is actually good for them. I know you said earlier on they're probably going to get eaten up. Ian Van Den and Noof, it's all about track position around here in Monaco. Ren's is on a set of softs. He's got Volokong ahead on a set of mediums, and then Noof and Ian Van Unen there 4th and 5th on a set of hards. It's very difficult to overtake around this track. I think Ian and Noof probably are going to try and remain there as much as they can in 4th and 5th.
I can see what you mean. We've seen Danny Ricciardo do it. We've seen many drivers. Lewis Hamilton was able to stay out on old mediums, wasn't he? And stretch those out and stay ahead of Max Verstappen. Was it 2020? I'm trying to remember what year it happened. But he was able to do it. So it can be done. Obviously, I said Danny Ricciardo earlier. But I think that's what Cameron Downs is doing as well. That's probably why he's probably doesn't mind about staying out. Let's hope he doesn't get eaten up. But he's got 12 laps to pretty much hold the rest of the field up and make sure he wins this race. Let us know your predictions in the chat, because to be honest, I don't know what's going to happen, and that's a good thing about PSGL. It's more predictable than real life F1. That is where you should tune in on a Monday evening as well. And it's probably better already than the Bahrain race in real life as well, but not going to give too many spoilers. If you haven't watched it, safety car should be in this lap because everyone has caught up. Yes, that I'm right. Thank you very much. All right, on cue. So Cameron Dowd is going to be the Burt Mylander. And this is less safety cars than what we seen in other leagues and in other tiers as well. So I was surprised we didn't get one, but I'm surprised that if we had one, it came a bit later. But it happens at PSGL, probably because I'm in the lobby. But Cameron Dowd, he's pulling away. He's pulling away from Flopman. I was riding on board with Flopman going towards the final corner. And Cameron Dowd is already 6 tenths ahead of Flopman, so he was able to time that perfectly to make sure no one would respond. You know who else has got a good restart? Renz, and also Matteo as well. He's pulling away from Ian Van Uven and as well as Noof. Let's watch Renz then, as he tries to go side by side into the left-hander past Wolagongan, but he can't quite do it, but he's well on the gearbox. Don't count him out for a shot of a podium or top 5 in this race. Oh, there's a bit of contact being made. A bit of a slide from Renz, unfortunately. But look at this. We've got Zorzo trying to get past Oh my goodness, there's a lot of dive bombs going on, but there's a lot of drivers trying to take some risks here in Monaco. Why not? We've got 11 laps to go of this race. Zorzo's going to try again, this time on Volakongan. No, Ren's going on Volakongan, actually. And Ren's does get passed up into 7th. My voice is almost dead.
Great move, actually, by Renz. He won it last week in Belgium with a not too dissimilar move to Yossi on the final lap of the race. And Renz has just pulled one off there through the tunnel, which will definitely go down in PSF1 history as being very ballsy, but very good as well. Fantastic stuff from Renz. Volakongan nearly into back, and nearly like a rolling car park as they come now through Raskas. Flopman, though, was on the back of Cameron Dowds for this race lead. Cameron on much older tyres compared to Flopman. Matteo is on much fresher tyres as well compared to Cameron Dowds. Ian Van Unen is getting into this as well as Nuth is in trouble dropping down the field. Cameron Dowds there into the lead. Flopman in second. Matteo there in third. They're 4.6 seconds clear. 4.7, 4.8. That gap is going up. And Zozo and Renta side by side through Massenane Casino Square. And he does get through on the run down the hill and towards Mirabeau. Backy to the inside on. And Justin, how on earth they fit that 3 wide? You're also looking to the outside on them as well. I do not know. Everyone's got through the Grand Hotel hairpin safely. The Sauber now, Backy on the inside of Justin. I don't know what on earth is going on. Flatman's going for the race lead on the back of Cameron Dowd. This race has literally just taken off into the stratosphere. Here comes Renz on the back of Ian Van Unen, down towards the Nivelle chicane as well. 4th and 5th position for these guys. Ian Van Unen is dropping down the field like an absolute stone. Nuth dropping down the field as well, down into 7th. He can still stay there though if he wants to. Cameron Dowds, Flopman and Matteo for the race win. Everyone else, it's like pretty much bumper cars as they come now through and towards Raskas.
Yeah, it is as well. You did say that it was going to close up like this and it's going to be harder than we thought to overtake. And we were right there as well. And the ones near the back, they haven't made as move as we once thought. But Flopman almost hit the back of Cameron Dowles there. That was very, very tight between the two of them. Matteo is probably going to go for a bold move, but Renz tried to go for the move on Ian. Matteo had a bit of a slide there in the front. We're seeing 2 battles at once, so sorry to jump off a little bit. Zorzo trying to get past Ian on the fresher rubber, but can't quite do it, unfortunately, as well. But sorry about that. It was just so much to keep up in so little time. It's absolutely crazy. Matteo had a bit of a slide, which didn't help, but he's still going to try and get past Flopman towards a tunnel. Can he do it? Make a bit of contact. That's going to allow Cameron Dowds. This is kind of a bit of a bump and run. I'm not sure that's allowed at PSGL, but he's going to try and do it anyway. And Zorzo's got a penalty. Zorzo's got a penalty. Oh!
Never.
Well, that's not what you're allowed to do, but Flopman is ahead, but you're not allowed to bump and run like that, are you?
I think Matteo was the one. He went for an absolute send to the inside line into the Nivelle chicane. That's where it all came from. That dive bomb from the inside line. I think Matteo could be the one in trouble here. Flopman there in second. Matteo there in third. It's now put them in a bump and run situation where Cameron Dowds is 1.5 seconds up the road. And another 1.5 seconds on top of that would put him outside of DRS range. But luckily, Flopman has got the tyres, so he can easily get back into contention if he wants to. 1.3 seconds of the gap. That gap will come down before the end of the race. Absolutely guaranteed, of course, unless we get another safety car. Backy on the outside line. Sanuth nearly forcing the move in towards Mirabeau. Oh, my word. Justin nearly in the wall there as well. In the background, getting very, very hard indeed. Pretty much like a car park as they come through the Grand Hotel hairpin. Didn't know the Grand Hotel hairpin needed a car park, to be honest. Cameron Dowds leading the way. Flopman there in second. Matteo there in third. Backy there on the back of Nuth trying to find this move down and towards the Nivelle chicane. This is what Matteo did last lap around. He goes for the inside line. Well, that's what Matteo should have done on the last lap. Nuth defended the position well. Backy there and they backed off. And I think Matteo is definitely the one that's going to get caught up in that with that instant. He might have a little bit of left side end plate damage on the car. If it is, it's minimal.
He's losing a bit of time. He's losing a bit of time, James, so I think he's got a bit of damage. I think it's on the right-hand side, if I could look closely.
Left side, I think.
Oh, it is left side. Okay, so that's why he's struggling a little bit as well. So he's got to nurse that car home until the end of this Grand Prix. Flopman tries to go for a move of dreams in towards Mirabeau. He's going to try and go for a send towards the hairpin. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. Cameron Dowles is pretty much playing the Minister of Defence right now. He's doing a great job, and we talked about him in reference to another league where he did exactly the same thing. And guess what? He won the race, but Cameron Dowles has got that penalty. So as it stands, Flopman on a net with the penalties taken into account. Flopman is going to win this race, and I think it's going to be Cameron Dow's in third because of the gap, but I will need to obviously double check, of course, but we will see what he could do. Oh, Flopman made a mistake there, but he just about saved it. How on earth did he save that? If that was me, I would have hit the wall.
If that was me, there would have been a safety call there. Quite literally, how on earth did Flopman save that? I do not know. He's on the back of Cameron Dowd, though, in towards turn number 1. Goodness me, I'm all a bit starstruck from that. Flopman on the back of Cameron Dowd. Cameron's still leading the way, Flopman there in second. His intention now, I think, Flopman, is clear. He wants to get this race win. He wants to get bragging rights over Cameron Dowd. People saying in the chat there as well, potentially, in terms of Flopman and his aggressive driving. And again, he makes the contact on the back of Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd has just got to keep cool right now. Flopman has got to keep cool right now. We do not want to see an incident between these two. That's the last of anybody's thoughts in the comment section, and indeed of us in the commentary boxes. Here he comes on the back of Cameron Dowd through the tunnel section, just going to apply that bit of pressure down into the Nivelle chicane. Cameron Dowd forced over the curb there slightly, but Cameron Dowd gets away from him coming out the corner. Flopman just made that slight mistake. His tyres are carrying him into the race, but there's only so much the tyres can do. This is 50% on the tyres, 50% on the driver right now, and Flopman is literally taking this track so much more quicker than Cameron Dowd. It is just a matter of, if not when, for Flopman to try and get this job for the race win. As he comes out down the straight in towards Sandoval at turn number 1, tries to go to the outside line, the AlphaTauri bounces back slightly, goes around the outside. Cameron Dowd nearly put him in the wall. Very difficult to go side by side through there as they come up the hill. But Cameron Dowd, I think, should just remain as he is. Flopman's going to have to try and defend and try and fight this move up the hill. But Cameron Dowd proving the Minister of Defence in the lead. Flopman there in second. But all of that, Flopman goes to the inside line, into a Mobo, and spins the car. That is him done. Cameron Dowd's now handed this race in an absolute place. Flopman, his own mistake. No contact there at all. I was on board with that. Flopman, his own mistake. He's there down in third, and he's now got a mountain to climb if he wants this race win.
That is absolute heartbreaking. He was on for it. He had a very good chance. I think it was a question of when rather than if, and he lost it, which is so heartbreaking. He's gonna, if he's in a shot winning the title, then this could be the race where he's lost it. I'm not even kidding, which is gonna be a shame. But he's hardly got any penalties. And I'm just looking at the gap to leader right now.
3.4.
3.4. So he needs to gain 5 tenths. It's not over yet, James. It's not over. If he gains 5 tenths on Cameron Dow's, he's got the race win. So it's not over yet. He's going to get second. He's going to get second at the moment. But, and don't forget, Ren's on shout for the race win as well, due to penalties. So if you have no penalties right now, and if you're on this train, use each other to work together. Don't squabble too much, because you could just lose time on Cameron Dow's.
Flopman on the back of Matteo running down the hill towards Mirabo. Not around the outside of Mirabo. Please, no. Matteo gets that car stopped just about. Flopman just remains in behind. That's what they should be doing. Yossi goes blue on Baki. That was around the outside of Massa there, I think, as I could on board with that. Beautiful move by Yossi to the outside line there on Baki. Baki is just now being sent for an absolute ride through there in towards Massanane Casino Square. Got the job done. Yossi through and he's into 7th. And now, look where we are once again. Ian Van Unen against Yossi. This is going to be smug for us in the commentary box, because Ian's just about cleaned on right
James,
now.
impartial.
Yossi, though, coming on the back of him in towards turn number 10 at the Nivelle chicane. Very deep on the brakes there. Ian Van Unen gets the car stopped. Yossi there in 7th, can't find a way through. Those tyres are going to be absolutely shot on that Haas. Flopman there as well. Matteo was side by side through Anthony Nodge. Renz could get them both, actually, as we cut off board. And now Renz going side by side down the straight with Matteo. 3 wide. Turn 1, 3 into 1 and go. 2 into 1 definitely doesn't. And just about Flopman gets out on top. Matteo there in 3rd and Renz up the hill into 4th. Now going for the outside line towards Massanane Casino Square. Matteo opts to back out. Flopman there into 2nd. Renz there in 3rd. And because of that aggressive squabbling through the final couple of corners, look where the gap is now. 5.4 seconds. And Cameron Dowd, as a result of a mistake by Flopman and aggressive fighting from him behind, Cameron Dowd has now just been handed this race on a silver platter.
Yeah, I did say, don't squabble. Work together to close in on Cameron Dowd. Don't squabble. That is where you're going to lose the time. Then you can squabble towards the end. And they just don't listen. That is very important in terms of your race as well. And now they're going to be second and third on the road. And Matteo is going to lose even more time to these guys as well, because even if Matteo gets past these two, he's going to pretty much be in the same position as he was when he tries to overtake. So that's going to be very, very annoying at the moment. And please, in the chat, by the way, in the YouTube chat, make sure you keep toxic comments to a minimum, please. They're all racers at the end of the day as well. They do make mistakes, and they are human. So leave the decisions up to the stewards. But there's a bit more happening in the midfield as well. Let me get the gap to interval. There we go. As we got the likes of Yossi, Ian Van Uben, Becky, Justin in there as well. Then we got Newf and Volakongan fighting with each other as well. Penalties could make or break here. On lap 7 of 39, still 3 laps to go until the end of this one.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. Cameron there leading the way, Flopman in second, Ren's there in third. Drivers have got to be very, very careful. If they want to try and decide things, it's probably better to decide them maybe privately rather than on track. This is not a good look for PSGL. Oh, as Volakongan into the back of Newt. As soon as I've just said that, there's an incident between Newt and Volakongan. The 11th and 12th position, outside of the points for them both. They were side by side through the swimming pool section before that as well. Newt there in 11th, Volakongan there in 12th. All of this race now just getting a little bit heated. They've got to decide this one way or another. I think it's better done privately rather than on track for everyone else to see, and it's a bad look on sim racing as a result as well. Yossi, as you mentioned though, Jess, on the back of Zozo, now coming through the swimming pool section. He's there for the taking of Zozo, but Zozo again, with his defence, has been really, really good. Yossi though, with his moves, has been even better. Tries it through Raskas, now in towards the right hand of Anti-Noj, in towards turn number 1 once again. The Alpine on the back of the Red Bull, flying through the pit limiter boards on the right hand side there towards turn 1. Yossi looks the inside line, can't find a way through. Yossi, very controlled and measured. Now we'll get the run up the hill in towards Massenane Casino Square. The Red Bull just about holding off the back of the Alpine. But this is what drivers should have been doing. They should have just been sitting and taking their chances. Yossi is sitting and taking his chances, and he wants to try and take his chance on Yossi, possibly through the tunnel. This is what we should be seeing out on track. I know it's Monaco. I know it gets aggressive. No race is 100% perfect, but when it's too much in the comment section, when it's too much in the chat, then as sim racers, we're doing something wrong.
Exactly. But Flotman's closing in on Cameron Dowles. 3.6 seconds. On newer tyres compared to Cameron Dowles, this race is not over. 3.4. So has Cameron Dowles made a mistake somewhere?
Cameron Dowds is losing time because, remember, Flopman's on those fresher compound and mediums. He's on 13 lap old mediums. Cameron Dowds there, 3.2 seconds. This gap is closed down significantly. Flopman had that ERS as well. Once the final lap of the race, this is not over and done with until everyone sings out on track. Cameron Dowds leads the way. 3.1 seconds of the gap. The gap will be under 3 seconds unless Flopman picks up a penalty as Newt and Volakongan are side by side and towards Raskas. Between them both further down the field, Volakongan gets the job done on Newt. Cameron Dowds though 2.9 seconds ahead of Flopman. It's only going one way. It's going down now, the gap between Flopman and Cameron Dowds. It looks like Flopman, even though he's had that mistake, even though he's had that aggressive battle, Jess, is going to be on top of this one.
Yeah, and could this be the day where it actually counts for him, this race win? Because otherwise it's going to be taken away from him. But anyway, we have got a few, well, the final sets to go for this one. Flotman made a mistake into the tunnel, so it's not over yet to decide who's going to win this race. Flotman is just going to close up like a madman. It's all it's going to take is for Cameron Dowles just to have the lap of his life, defend for his life. Cameron Dowles is going to exit the final corner. He's going to come to the start finish straight as the race winner, but it is Flopman that wins in Monaco. He has done it. Renz comes across the line in third with Cameron Dowles in second, and Matteo is going to come across the line in fourth. Zorzo with a great result, but look at this, that's a good DRS train now. We've got Zorzo, Yossi, Ian Van Uven, Baki and Justin, but it's Zorzo that comes out on top of this one, but it's Yossi that gets the jump on him in penalties. He was at last a moment ago. So I think,
last.
But now Ian Van Uven's got 20 lap old tyres, and so did the other Haas as well. So the only one that was able to make their older tyres work out of the ones we stayed out was Cameron Dowds.
Yeah, and Cameron Dowds staying out, I think, was an absolute godsend in the end. Whether or not that does get taken away because of penalties, That's for the stewards to decide. That's not for you guys to decide in the chat. That's not for these guys. And that's not for us to decide in the commentary box either. We can have an opinion. We can stick to that if we want to. Something that appears live. Yeah, Bass has apologised, which is really good. I expect the same of some others as well there in the chat. But rising up to the top, quite literally, is the Sauber there of Flopman. And he comes there out on top. A really interesting race, I've got to say, between them all. Flopman in the end does take the race win. It could be the second race win that he gets taken off him as a result of those penalties. But remember, Jess, without that mistake, I think Flopman would have had that race sealed a long time before.
Yeah.
He had his own mistake, then he had that aggressive battle. I think his own mistake cost him more time than what that battle did, personally. And in the end, he still comes out on top. Cameron Dowd's got it on track. And in the end, Flopman, the man that takes pole position, takes the race win.
Yep, indeed. Let's run through your results then for the Monaco Grand Prix. It is Flopman that is out there on top. Cameron Dow's in second. Ren's in third. We've got Matteo, Yossi, Ian, Baki, Justin Zorzo, Ryan, Volakongan, Noof, your finishers. And we had 5 retirements of Sipola, Keke, Kadidal, Gustav, and Tim. We had 39 laps, 1 safety car, and we didn't know who was going to win this race until the final lap.
And to be honest, Jess, it could have went either way on the final lap of the race as well. Let's just face it, because Flopman, we saw in that final sector was, 3 seconds, I think, behind him in the end. And then that gap whittled away. Those fresher tyres really come into play. That ERS conservation that we talked about as well. Very, very good in the end. And what happened there, I think, was really kind of a little bit of a shame, but in the end, Flopman kind of deserves it as well. It's an interesting one. It's a 50-50 sort of take from me. Cameron Dowds did everything in his power to try and get that gap out. Flopman made that mistake. If he didn't make that mistake, I think the race would have been sealed a long time before what it was. But in the end, Flopman does take the race win. Whether or not he keeps it, like Australia, which he didn't keep it there in Australia round 1 of the season, remains to be seen.
And make sure you keep an eye on our socials at Premier Sim GL for all information as well. And we will obviously keep you updated on our socials as well, because we like to tell, and we like to obviously write some notes about the tier as well, because we'll keep you up to date. But if you don't follow us on socials, you'll be kept up to date on the stream when we start at 5 to 8 next week, when we go racing at a completely different track to the one tonight. Do we have anyone waiting in the interview, James?
We don't right now, but looking at some of the feedback actually that we're getting from our Discord, Keke mentioned, which caused the safety car ultimately. Keke mentioned that he lost force feedback on the straight down towards Sandoval at turn 1, and then went straight on into the wall, which is what I commented on. It was a bit peculiar to end up in that position. He had no force feedback. Ryan also reporting no force feedback as well in his race. Ryan, I think, did manage to finish, luckily. Keke didn't in the end. I think he was further down the field, DNFing out of the race with that safety car. But interesting that they're reporting no force feedback. Whether or not it's an issue from the recent patch update, whether or not it's just the track, remains to be seen. But hopefully this is not a sign of things to come. Hopefully we will get a cleaner race than what we did this week, certainly in Monaco. And hopefully for those sakes, for Keke and Ryan, hopefully they get their force feedback back.
So that explains it then. That is huge around Monaco. This is a track where you do not want to have no force feedback, because you force feedback, for those of you that don't know, it allows you to know how much grip there is as well, because you can tell if you're losing grip with the tyres as well, and you're able to know like how much turning you're able to put in the wheel as well. Without it, you're not going to know, and you're not going to know if you're spinning into a wall or anything like that. So it's going to be, I think, very, very gutting as well. And Matteo, well, you will see in the championship going into this one, but with a few people missing tonight, maybe that will close in a little bit more to the other guys potentially. But you never know with this championship. It went down to the wire last time. Should go down to the wire again.
It will definitely go down to the wire again. PSF1, normally I think in the last 2 or 3 seasons since I've been here, certainly, we have seen some very interesting racing, put it that way. We saw, I think season 34, I dare say it was. 2 points separating the top 4 in the title, which was very entertaining. Black Box was in that battle and all of that. We should be getting, though, Cameron Dowd in the party right now. He's in the waiting room, so if you want me to send him over, I can.
Hang on, I need to find the right scene. There we go. Over to you, James.
Right, let me bring him in. That's Matteo coming through, if you can hear that in the background. Not sure why he's rustling his mic on the background, but hopefully this will work. We can now speak to the man who finished in the end, out on track in P1, but because of penalties down in P2. It is Mr. Cameron Dowd. And Cameron, I said earlier on in commentary that you seem to struggle, I think, in that race, especially with your ERS management. Talk us through it, because it definitely wasn't a performance that we're normally used to seeing. We're normally used to seeing you dominate, and in the end, you had to do it the hard way tonight.
Yeah, the race pace was just... Flopman just seems to be crazy on this track. I knew it was going to be hard to stay with him, so I had to use a lot of ERS. And then that penalty, that tipped me off. I'm really annoyed at myself, because then I ended up in a good position and I got lucky because Flopman spun, and then I was going to win the race, and then I got damage. I got orange wing damage with 5 laps to go, and that's why the gap was coming down so quickly. I don't know if you knew, but yeah, I'm not very happy with myself because that's 2 mistakes in one night. So I'm going to have to work hard for next week if I'm racing and make sure that does not happen again, because I'm not very happy with myself at all.
Yeah, honestly, don't beat yourself up about it. It's sim racing at the end of the day. These things can happen. I mean, hell, I've been in that position. Even that time, Jess has probably been in the same position as well, where normally we want the best of ourselves, and sometimes the best just isn't good enough. And hopefully you will be able to come back, as you say, next week, going in potentially as another reserve. But talk us through that race. We didn't actually see you pick up damage. I think Jess might have referenced it in commentary. I certainly didn't. I thought it was more with the tyres coming down. Where did you pick that damage up on the final few laps?
Coming out of the... I don't even know. It's like the corner before the penultimate corner. Like where you've got to just shaft it.
Swimming pool?
I can't really... Yeah, swimming pool. Yeah. I just went, honked over the curb, and then I just hit into the wall and got damage. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, right side end plate damage, I'm assuming, from that as well, which is really unfortunate. We saw that gap coming down, and then all of a sudden, Flopman on the final lap of the race, middle sector, it was 3 seconds, was hanging on by a thread. He was closing you down, though, very quickly indeed. But in the end, a very strong showing from you. P2, potentially going to be leading the championship, potentially after tonight as well. Talk us through what's going through your head going into the next few races of the season, and how you're going to improve basically from tonight. Obviously, you're trying to beat yourself up from it. How you're going to now turn that negative from tonight and finishing second into a positive next week.
Well, as I said, I'm a donut and I didn't sign up, so it's nothing guaranteed I'll be racing the next races. But yeah, if I am, then I'll just give it my best, and I'll just probably I only practiced on the day. I did maybe an hour and a half of practice today, and I'm sure Flopman and a few others did quite a lot more, I've seen. So maybe I'll just, if I find out I'm racing, I'll just try and put a bit more practice in throughout the week. And yeah, that's all I can really do, and I'll just focus up.
Yeah, definitely. So there'll be one person in the chat that's definitely still proud of you, regardless of the result, and that is your dad. I saw him in the chat a little bit earlier on as well. Congratulations on that P2, though. Jess, any questions?
You nicked the question I was going to ask, so nothing from me.
That's it from me as well. Go and enjoy your evening, Cameron.
Right, thank you, YouTube.
Very welcome indeed. Renz has mentioned as well that he is very tired. I'm not sure if we can even get an interview out of Flopman with potential communication issues, let's just say. So I think that might be the interviews done for tonight.
Yes, the interviews will possibly be done tonight, but I'm about to have a sneezing fit, which is exactly the same time as I had a sneezing fit last night in another league, which is very, very annoying. I need to get rid of some of the dust in my room, most likely, as well. But what a race. What some great action. I think it got very spicy towards the end of the Grand Prix. Where are we next week? Well, we head to a track where it's overtakes galore. The Osterized Ring, the Red Bull Ring, the A1 Ring, whatever you like to call it. the Austrian Grand Prix, it always plays a special place in my heart at PSGL, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. The hills will be alive with the sound of 20 Formula One cars going around there in PSF1 next week. And of course, that is round 4 of the championship. That'll be on the 11th of March. So if you do want to tune in for that, you can. Same time, same place. Same with all the other tiers as well. On Mondays, all the console tiers run at 7 p.m. at 8 p.m. respectively. And then, of course, we've got Canada and France after that before what we normally have an Easter break, but we don't. We're having Portugal on Easter Monday, which is very, very neat indeed. Then Azerbaijan, Netherlands, Brazil, and Texas. Howdy to everyone over there in America for round 11 of the championship. They'll be coming your way soon. But Austria round 4, honestly, it is such a great track on this game. We normally get close qualifying. We normally get close racing around there. Let's hope drivers behave themselves, and let's hope we have a good race.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I think I had a lot of TikTok moments around this track in quite a lot of PSGL seasons, so it could happen, but obviously it's not about me, it's about the drivers. Can we see the likes of Flotman be able to get a win again? Maybe could Cameron Dowles, if he races, be able to do so? Could Matteo pick up another win? There's so many drivers that could pick up wins. It's going to be close this year, so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. And we can get our cameras on because Cameron has left the party. So thank you very much. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for all the other tiers this week as they race around Austria. We got PCF1 on Wednesday. What track are they around, James, this week?
They are around Belgium this week. So they literally come from us last week being in Belgium. They're there this week in Belgium as well. And then they've got the American doubleheader to round off the season, I think. Texas and Las Vegas.
Ah, very, very nice. And on Friday, of course, we've got the E-Series as well, which is very exciting with Nathan and JGM in the commentary box there. And then we've got the normal PC tiers, like you were saying, on at Thursday at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So, final plug of our sponsors. First of all, GT Omega. That comfy chairs again. 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout or use the link in the description. And also, thanks to our partners at Sim Racing Centre. They provide some lovely setups for the F123 game. You can also pre-order the F124 setups by using the code PSGL at checkout. You can get 10% off. With a new F124 game coming out, good incentive for you to do that. I forgot to mention that, actually. Thank goodness I did. You can also get that for strategies, and you could have some coaching sessions from maybe two-time esports champion Brendan Lee. We're going to leave you with our sponsors and partners at GT Omega and SRC. But for myself and James, we're going to go before I start having another sneezing fit. And we will see you next week for the Austrian Grand Prix. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
He's got the inside, oh, here he's through, on the left-hand side, hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now, to the last couple of corners now, his finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.